Welcome back. In the previous lesson, we have identified how presentation anxiety affects your thoughts, body, voice, and behavior. And also, you identify your strongest triggers. So, in this module 1, lesson 2, we are going to challenge one of the most common beliefs that keeps student stuck. The belief that you need to feel confident before you can present well. So, by the end of this lesson, we will be able to understand where real presentation confidence comes from, why waiting to feel ready often increases the anxiety, and how to create a realistic definition of success for your next presentation. So, let us begin with a question. Have you ever told yourself, I will practice when I feel more confident? Or once I stop feeling nervous, I will be ready. It sounds reasonable. Confidence feels like something that should come first. You imagine that confident speakers always they feel calm and they are prepared and certain before they stand in front of the audience. But this idea creates a problem. If you believe confidence must come before the action, you may keep waiting for a feeling that only develops your after action. So, because you avoid those actions, you never collect evidence that you can handle them. Without that evidence, your presentation of the confidence does not grow. So, this creates a cycle. You feel nervous, so you avoid practicing. Because you avoid practicing, the presentation remains unfamiliar. Why it remains unfamiliar? You feel even more nervous. The way out of that cycle is not to force yourself to feel confident. It is to redefine the confidence. Confidence is not the absence of nervousness. So, confidence is a growing belief that you can take the next step, you manage the discomfort, and recover if something goes wrong. That means you can feel nervous and you can still behave confidently. You can have a racing heart and still begin your opening. You can notice your hands shaking and still you can explain your first point. Sometimes you forgot a sentence or a keyword and still you can continue. You can receive a question which you are not prepared, you did not expect. So calmly you respond. This is important because nervousness and ability are not opposites. If you are feeling nervous, it doesn't mean that you are unprepared, you are incapable, or sometimes you are likely to fail. Sometimes nervousness simply means the situation that matters to you. So think about learning another skill such as driving, swimming, playing an instrument, or speaking a new language. Most people, they are not confident first and begin practicing. The practice or their practice while feeling uncertain, each successful attempt gives them evidence that they can manage the situation. The same process applies here also. We can have example. I have taken an XYZ story. The XYZ believes confident speakers never feel nervous. Before every presentation, XYZ checks his body for signs of anxiety. If XYZ heart is beating quickly, immediately he concludes that he is not ready. Then he tries to protect himself by memorizing every sentence. During practice, he restarts whenever he makes a small mistake. By the presentation day, if he doesn't trust himself to speak naturally, just imagine the XY story or the XYZ student uh, where we can change the definition of the confidence there. So most of the time, instead of asking, do I feel completely calm? Can I communicate my idea even if I feel nervous? Instead of restarting after a mistake, he continues practicing, and he practices that continuing. Suppose the mistakes at the time of the presentation, we do make some mistakes. So after you have done a mistake, immediately if you start continuing, that means you need to practice that continuing the presentation. So instead of measuring the success by perfect delivery, XYZ measures success by clarity, preparation, and recovery. The nervousness may still be present, but it no longer controls every decision he makes. That is here why I have taken a small example of the XYZ, what the XYZ believed and the changed perception of the XYZ. Many students, they imagine success as delivering every sentence exactly what they have planned, never pausing awkwardly, never forgetting a word, never looking nervous, and answering every question perfectly. That standard is almost impossible to meet because it also makes normal speaking moments sometimes like failures. A pause becomes proof that you are losing control. A forgotten phrase becomes a disaster. Looking at your notes, looking at your notes, sometimes we become embarrassed. From the audience, if we receive a difficult question which we have not prepared properly. But audience usually they do not know what you have planned to say. Because if you change a sentence, they do not know. It was different from your script. If you pause to gather your thoughts, they may simply see someone thinking carefully. If you miss a minor detail about communicating the main message clearly, the presentation can still succeed. Your audience is not comparing your delivery with the perfect version, what it's there inside your head. They are listening for a purpose. They are listening for some valuable meaning. This is why, as a presenter, your goal should not be to deliver a perfect script. Your goal should be to deliver useful, understandable message. A strong presentation can include nerves, pauses, notes, and small mistakes. What matters? What matters is that whether the audience can follow your ideas. See, real presentation confidence is built from the four forms of evidence. Real presentation confidence. On what basis it is built? The first is the preparation evidence. See here, this is the proof that you understand your topic and know the purpose of your presentation. The second is practice evidence. This is proof that you have said the words aloud, testing the timing, and walked through the difficult sections. The third is a coping evidence. This is a proof that you can continue after a mistake, after a pause, whenever, wherever it is required. If you want to check a note, what you have taken along with your presentation in the form of the presentation material, or recover if you lose your place. The fourth is the progress evidence. This is the proof that something is becoming easier or clearer than it was during the previous attempt. See here what we have to notice. We have to notice that none of these forms of evidence requires you to feel that fearless, because they require actions. The mistake most of the time students, what they do, they start measuring confidence only through the emotions. Sometimes they used to ask their classmates, how nervous do I feel? No, that should not be the question you have to ask. A useful question will be, what evidence do I have that I can handle this? Do you have the preparation evidence? Do you have the practice evidence? Do you have the coping evidence? Do you have the progress evidence? Still, you may feel nervous, but you have practiced your opening for 5 minutes. You know your three key points that you want to deliver in the presentation. You have tested your slides. You have completed a full rehearsal. You have done all the exercises. You know what to say when you forget some words or a content. These facts most matter than the temporary feeling in your stomach. Your next step is to create a realistic success statement for your preparation. What actually the success statement describes? What you will do rather than how you must feel. An unsuccessful, suppose if any unsuccessful presentation is there, how do you feel? How you should feel? And success, say for sometimes success statements will be like, I feel completely confident and I have given a perfect presentation. But this is not going to help you if you are feeling this. Definitely, it is not going to help you because the statement, this particular statement, has depend on the emotions and perfection. Then what should be the useful statement that a presenter can tell? I will communicate my 3 points clearly. I will use my notes whenever it is required, and I continue calmly if there are certain small mistakes. Sometimes other students, they may say, I will speak slowly enough to be understood. Look up regularly and finish with the required, whatever it is there in the presentation. That's it. Crisp and clear. The question is, when the student who is experiencing the strong anxiety, for them success might be, I will complete the presentation without escaping, apologizing for being nervous or giving up halfway through. Most of the time that we observe when we call the students to present something. Oh, I'm sorry for for my behavior. No, actually, this is what required. This is a actual progress what you are making. Your success statement should be challenging enough to represent your improvement. It should be realistic. Then only you can influence the outcome, right? See, most of the times, we try to avoid the goals. Say, for example, nobody will judge me because you cannot control what every person thinks. How do you control what your audience is thinking about your presentation? You try to avoid. I will not feel nervous because you cannot directly command your nervous system to switch off. Right? You feel nervous. You just focus on actions what you can control because you can practice, you can slowly increase your pace of presentation, you can pass the presentation, you can look at the audience, you can continue even after a mistake. Let us make this even more practical. Think about your next presentation. Just ask the question, how your presentation will be successful if, and finish what you have observed. Action verbs. My presentation will be successful if I explain my message clearly. My presentation will be successful if I speak naturally. My presentation will be successful if I complete the presentation with the actual information what has to be communicated. Suppose if I make a mistake, what you will do? If I make a mistake, I'll pause, I'll check the prompt and continue from the next idea. Finally, you have to create a, a statement. It should be a statement, whatever it is, right? You have your own statements. So here, after going through this particular lesson, have 1 minute speaking challenge. You can choose any topic, right? Whatever we have discussed, you can choose any topic and you can speak for a minute. Record yourself. Right? When you record yourself, also, you'll come to know whether is there evidence of good presentation. So all these things, uh, and after completion of this 1 minute task, just ask, did I finish? Was my idea is clear or not? At the outset, so you don't need confidence to begin. Don't need confidence to begin. What you begin to build the confidence? How do you begin? So the lesson 2 has clearly makes you to start building your confidence. Thank you.